Spire of Industry. Could it possibly be? We have turn 2 Karn against our opponent playing an Affinity deck. Okay, I see how it is. Alright, guys, we are here for match 2 with the list that you see on screen. We are playing Karn's and Urza Saga, trying to see if the two can coexist. If you haven't seen match 1 explaining the card choices in detail, then check that out. And I don't really have much else to say other than let's just jump straight into match 2 here. Alrighty, let's hop in here for the match. On the play, love it. Playing against Trolling in the Deep. Interesting. And we have a turn 2 Karn hand. Turn 1 Amulet, turn 2 bounce land, float 3 mana, pick up the bounce land, play Grazer, down to 2 mana, bounce land again, Karn. Yeah, we'll keep that one. Turn 2 Karn on the play. Very interesting. Here's Amulet, then we'll pass. I don't know if you're prepared for this. Trolling in the Deep. Spire of Industry. Could it possibly be? We have turn 2 Karn against our opponent playing an Affinity deck. Okay, I see how it is. Right, we can yield to Amulet here. Let's see. Just got to do some quick math to double check. So if we pack for Zeus to play it, land 4 up to 5 with the Grazer. Yeah, we can't cast Titan, so we'll play Grazer. We'll play Sanctuary. We will pick up the Sanctuary just because I want to use bounce lands to get to where we need to be. Are we minusing Karn? Our opponent concedes the game. Alright, well, I mean, that looks pretty dang good for Karn, I gotta admit. Alright, so against our Affinity opponent, is it crazy to side out Karns because they're an aggressive deck when our opponent just scoops to turn 2 Karn? Probably is crazy, I would think. We want the Artifact Enchantment Hate. We want Dismembers, probably. Possibly? Our opponent's playing Vault Scourge, which makes me think they're on more of like a traditional quote-unquote Affinity list. Spire of Industry as well. So, we probably should expect things like Steel Overseer and Arcbound Ravager that we might want to have Dismembers in the deck for. We also want Explosives. Do we want one in the main and one in the side, or both in the main? Honestly, I have no clue how to answer that question whatsoever. I feel like having both in the main is better, as if we... actually, I think it is reasonable to expect to resolve Karn and it not to die immediately. We can even plus Karn on one of their artifacts, like a cranial plating, to detach it from a creature, as an artifact, equipment that is a creature cannot be attached to another creature. So that would detach the equipment from there, and then they couldn't re-equip it as long as Karn is on the battlefield. In which case, we are more likely to have Karn survive and be able to -4 explosives at the same time, so I think it's fine. We can trim Explorers as it's a fast matchup. We can trim Cavern as our opponent is unlikely to be countering our anything. What else? We can trim Ace Summoner's Pact, as we don't want to be tapping out too much. I really don't know what else. We want Radiant Fountain, obviously. We want Saga. I feel like we do. We want Pithing Needle to search with our Saga. I think probably not. We can trim... I don't know. We gotta trim on 3 cards. I have no clue what it should be. I guess it's the second pact. Maybe a fetch land. I'm just cutting cards kind of at random at this point. I kind of feel like maybe we should be siding out Karn, but I'm not sure. Turn 2 Karn looks really good, but turn 3 or turn 4 Karn is not quite as good against your opponent's aggressive deck, but we'll try it. We'll have faith. Maybe we could trim 1 Karn, just to make sure. We'll trim 1 Karn just to be sure. How about that? I'm still of the opinion it might be right to board out all the Karns and board in 2 explosives, but we'll see. Well, we get turn 1 Grazer out of Saga, and then turn 3 Karn. I mean, yeah, we'll try it. If we draw an Amulet, this hand is another turn 2 Karn hand. Maybe our opponent will concede just like before. I don't have much hope in that. They have Darksteel Citadel. That is a land that gets deactivated by Karn, as do all the other artifact lands. Pithing Needle. Interesting. What do they name? I guess Karn the Great Creator? Engineer explosives, maybe? Castle Garenbrig. That's the name. Well, I'm shocked. See, the thing that's interesting about them Pithing Needle naming Castle Garenbrig is that everything Garenbrig does is a mana ability. And Pithing Needle specifically says, unless they're mana abilities. So that actually doesn't really do anything, opponent. I'm sorry to tell you. Should I tell them in the chat, or would that be rude? Because I want them to know for future reference. I don't know. I feel like I'd be overstepping my bounds if I were to try to tell them that. They wear away our Urza Saga, which is pretty tragic, I'm not going to lie. Dryad is a good one. We'll just play out Forest here, I think. And pass it back. We'll block your 1/1 until they play land, Cranial Plating, equip Midnight, and then attack, and then we may not be blocking at that point. Arcbound Ravager. Okay, so this is basically just a traditional Affinity list. Alright, we'll untap. Expedition map. I mean, we're just playing a turn 2, what is this, turn 4? Turn 4 Dryad? Jeez, that sounds really slow. And I don't think I want to get Breeding Pool. Keep our life total nice and high. Growth Chamber, pick up a Forest. Pass it back. If we draw an untapped land, we have the Titan next turn, and if we don't, then we just get to slam Karn. The Galvanic Blast Dryad. Alright, so we're playing Karn next turn. Minusing for our explosives, probably. Do we block? I don't think we block. I think I'm fine just taking 2 damage here. Yep. Growth Chamber. Okay, well, we can play Karn, play Growth Chamber, and then have Titan this upcoming turn. Play the Growth Chamber out now, I suppose. Karn. They need to activate Ravager in response if they have an inkling to do so, but they don't. So now they're down to only 1 functional land as well. Do we minus? I feel like it's safe to minus here. I don't know if we need to minus, though. We can uptick on their Darksteel Citadel to kill it. I feel like there's no need to minus here, so I'm just going to kill their Citadel. Go ahead. Admittedly, with Karn in play, we don't really need to kill their artifact lands, but... I mean, they might be able to get Karn out of play. Just saying. Of course, the reason that kills the Citadel is because it turns the Citadel into a 0/0 creature, which will die due to state-based actions, not due to destruction, which Indestructible would prevent. We'll block the Ravager, I guess. Karn goes to 5. Oh, no. I'm scared. Vault Scourge. Alright. We'll draw. So we could slam Titan, or we could minus Karn. I feel like we might minus Karn anyways, just to set us up with the explosives regardless, and then still slam Titan. Yeah, I feel like that's fine. Let's play Titan first, though, I suppose. Boom. Titan into play. And here we'll set up Talari West to help us get to potential Dryad mana, and I guess Garrison in case our Titan dies, and we instead transmute for another Titan and want to haste. So, yeah, and we are going to go ahead and minus for explosives. It might be a little loose, but I feel like there's nothing they can really do to punish us here. I can't think of a single artifact creature with haste other than, like, Bomat Courier or, like, Ginger Brute or some very strange ones that you wouldn't usually expect to see in a traditional Affinity list. I'm just not going to play around that kind of effect. I think it's unlikely they have it. Yeah. Naming Karn or Engineered Explosives would have been better for the Pithing Needle from our opponent. Or even naming Talari West so we can't transmute, as that does work, as it would stop the transmutability. And yeah, this one has reach, so... Sorry, opponent. Dismember. Galv Blast the Karn. Okay. Well, I mean... I guess minusing Karn doesn't play around Galv Blast. We still have explosives, so we can explosives for 2 to clean up this mess. Or we could probably just transmute for Dryad and kill them straight up. They don't have another Galv Blast up, so I'm pretty sure that's just lethal, right? Alright, let's stop messing around here. Let's just go ahead and transmute and do the lethal thing. How about that? Summoner's Pact. Cast Pact. Get Dryad of the Elysian Grove. Photo mana, cast Dryad. Ah, we need 2 mana. Our opponent concedes. Well, I mean, turn 2 card against Affinity seems pretty good. I guess if Affinity is coming back to the format thanks to Urza Saga, then Karn is a good place to be. So anyways, I really enjoyed that match. I sincerely apologize to my opponent. If you're out there and watching this, that was just wrong. But regardless, I will see you guys for the next match. This is Redface Menace, signing off.